भगवतीर उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातम् अहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्।
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. My humble pranams to all of you. Please welcome, I welcome you all on this bi-monthly Viva session. And as you all know that in these particular sessions, we come together, all the members of Bhakti Vriksha as well as the congregation members, they come together and we chant or we glorify the Lord, the names, forms, qualities and pastimes of Krishna. And to do that today, we have a very special guest speaker with us today. His name is His Grace Bandhu Madav Prabhu, and Prabhuji has spent 25 plus years in Krishna consciousness. He started when he was in college, and he followed the footsteps of his brother, elder brother, and he has tirelessly worked hard to develop the Sheshadrapuram Temple congregation and the Narasimha Giridhari Temple congregation. So big Hari Bol for Prabhuji here. Hari Bol! Presently ISKCON Whitefield. And he is the co-leading member of ISKCON Whitefield, which has conducted over 10 Janmashtami. And Prabhuji is well known for his powerful philosophical lectures that have profound impact and have transformed the lives of several devotees. And materially, Prabhuji is actually working as a technical architect in one of the automobile industries. He has done his master's in BSLI. So it's deep honor for all of us to welcome him here and to listen from him. Prabhuji, please enlighten us with your talks today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 25, Text 21. Okay, we have it here. So Canto 3, Chapter 25, Text 21. This sloka, Prabhupada used to quote this sloka, I wouldn't say very often, but definitely often. This talks about qualities that devotees should have, basically. So we'll recite the verse. This is a text from Kapila Dev's teaching. Thank you, Prabhu. This is a text from Lord Kapila Dev's teaching. Titikshava karunika Titikshava karunika Suhridam sarvadehinam Suhrida sarvadehinam Ajata shatrava shanta Ajata shatrava shanta Sadhava sadhu bhushana Sadhava sadhu bhushana Titikshava karunika Suhridam sarvadehinam Ajata shatrava shanta Sadhava sadhu bhushana Titikshava karunika Suhrida sarvadehinam Ajata shatrava shanta Sadhava sadhu bhushana Titikshava karunika Suhrida sarvadehinam Ajata shatrava shanta Sadhava sadhu bhushana Titikshava karunika Suhrida sarvadehinam Ajatashatrava Shanta Sadhava Sadhu Bhushana. Anybody would like to repeat the verse?
Titikshavaha karunikaha
Titikshava Karunika
Suhridah sarvadehinam
Suhrida Sarvadehinam
Ajat shatravah shanta
Ajatashatrava Shanta
Sadhavah sadhu bhushana
Sadhava Sadhu Bhushana.
Titikshavaha karunika
Titikshava Karunika Suhridam Sarvadehinam Ajatashatrava Shanta Sadhava Sadhu Bhushana. Mataji's Titikshava Karunika Suhrida Sarvadehinam Ajatashatrava Shanta Sadhava Sadhu Bhushana. Word to word meaning. Titikshava, tolerant. Karunika, merciful. Suhrida, friendly. Sarvadehinam, to all living entities. Ajatashatrava, inimical to none. Shanta, peaceful. Sadhava, abiding by scriptures. Sadhu Bhushana, adorned by sublime characters. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravanda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. The symptom of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies, he is peaceful, he abides by the scriptures and all his characteristics are sublime. I'll repeat again. The symptoms of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies. He is peaceful. He abides by the scriptures and all his characteristics are sublime. Purport. A sadhu, as described above, is a devotee of the Lord. His concern, therefore, is to enlighten people in devotional service to the Lord. That is his mercy. He knows that without devotional service to the Lord, human life is spoiled. A devotee travels all over the country from door to door preaching, be Krishna conscious, be a devotee of Lord Krishna, don't spoil your life in simply fulfilling your animalistic propensities. Human life is meant for self-realization or Krishna consciousness. These are the preachings of the sadhu. He is not satisfied with his own liberation. He always thinks about others. He is most compassionate personality towards the fallen souls. One of his qualification, therefore, is Karunika, great mercy to the fallen souls. While engaged in preaching work, he has to meet so many opposing elements, and therefore, the sadhu or devotee of the Lord has to be very tolerant. Someone may ill-treat him because the conditioned souls are not prepared to receive the transcendental knowledge of devotional service. They do not like it. That is their disease. The sadhu has the thankless task of impressing upon them the importance of devotional service. Sometimes devotees are personally attacked with violence. Lord Jesus Christ was crucified. Haridas Thakura was caned in 22 marketplaces, and Lord Chaitanya's principal assistant Nityananda was violently attacked by Jagai and Madai. But still, they were tolerant because their mission was to deliver the fallen souls. One of the qualification of a sadhu is that he is very tolerant and is merciful to all fallen souls. He is merciful because he is the well-wisher of all living entities. He is not only a well-wisher of human society, but a well-wisher of animal society as well. It is said here, Sarvadehinam, which indicates all living entities who have accepted material bodies. Not only does the human beings have a material body, but other living entities such as cats and dogs also have materialistic body. The devotee of the Lord is merciful to everyone, the cat, dog, trees, etc. He treats all living entities in such a way that they can ultimately get salvation from this material entanglement. Shivananda Sain, one of the disciples of Lord Chaitanya, gave liberation to a dog by treating the dog transcendentally. There are many instances where a dog got salvation by association with a sadhu, because a sadhu engages in the highest philanthropic activity for the benediction of all living entities. Yet, although a sadhu is not inimical towards anyone, the world is so ungrateful that even a sadhu has many enemies. What is the difference between an enemy and a friend? It is difference in behavior. A sadhu behaves with all conditioned soul for their ultimate relief from material entanglement. Therefore, no one can be more friendly than a sadhu in relieving a conditioned soul. A sadhu is calm and he is quietly and peacefully following the principles of scriptures. A sadhu means one who follows the principles of scriptures and at the same time is a devotee of the Lord. One who actually follows the principles of scriptures must be a devotee of God, because all the Shastras instruct us to obey the order of the personality of Godhead. Sadhu therefore means a follower of the scriptural injunctions and a devotee of the Lord. All these characteristics are prominent in a devotee. A devotee develops all the good qualities of the demigods, whereas a non-devotee, even though academically qualified, have no actual good qualities or good characteristics according to the standards of transcendental realization. Om Tat Sat. Om Jnanati Mirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Very happy to be here on a special Sunday program with all the devotees together in a Vyuha program. By any chance, how many of you coming here to the Kannamangala Center first time today? Okay, we have few devotees who are coming. I'm second time, not me. There was a leaders meeting here. I came for that, please. Right. You are embarrassing me. All right. Okay. So, Vyuha program is actually it's actually a great gathering. It's a Vyuha. Vyuha itself means it's like a collaboration kind of. It's a great gathering of devotees from different Bhakti Vriksha, and it's actually a blissful time, because when we come along with devotees, it's a very blissful time we actually get. Outside world is like always a push and pull situation where somebody will pull you to actually come up. That's the outside world. Material world is like that. Jivo jivasya jivanam. One jiva lives at the cost of other jiva. For them to actually come up, somebody needs to be pulled down. That's what material world's laws are. So, spiritual life is not like that. In material life, somebody has to fail for somebody to win. Just like now, World Cup is going on. Only one person can win, right? Not that, how many countries are participating? 10. Okay, 10 countries cannot win. Correct? Then it will not become a World Cup. Right? Only one country actually wins. Right? So in the material world is like that. 9 people have to fail and one person actually wins. But spiritual life is not like that. All of them actually win. That's what spiritual life is all about. Here there is no competition, so to say. And we want everybody to win. Other person's victory is actually becomes our victory. If somebody else becomes victorious and we could be of some help to them, our life is also victorious. That's what spiritual life is. There is no question of losing here in spiritual life. Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita, saying, Neha Bikrama Nasosti Pratyavayo na kalpate Swalpam apyasya dharmasthya trayate mahato bayat. Even if a person actually does a little bit of small endeavor, small service to the Supreme Lord, it never goes in vain. Never is the service to the Supreme Lord goes waste. Right? That Krishna gives a promise. It gives a great encouragement, saying that even if somebody does a small service to the Supreme Lord, it brings big results. Right? So nobody actually fails in Krishna consciousness. That's the beauty of it. How many of you are happy about it? Right? There is no need to actually fail. In this exam, everybody passes for sure. And nobody fails. Just that you have to be in the examination hall, you have to take the exam and it is for sure you have passed. That's how it is. Right? So it's so beautiful and so blissful. Especially when Krishna consciousness is practiced in association of devotees. When so many devotees actually come together, and together if we actually clap the hand and loudly chant the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Life is so blissful, in fact. There is no competition, there is no question of anybody actually feeling jealous about others that somebody is chanting the holy name. Right? If somebody becomes a crorepati, people will wonder, how can he become a crorepati? Yesterday he was a pauper, today he became a crorepati. People may become jealous. But if somebody takes the holy name of the Lord, nobody feels insecure. Everybody feels comfortable. Right? So to say, even animals became comfortable. Other living entities also became comfortable. Right? When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling in the Jarikanda forest, it is said that all the wild animals joined along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and chanted the holy name. It was so blissful situation. That's why spiritual world is said to be a very, very pleasant place to actually live in. And material world is a very tough place to live in. In material world, you will have to do a lot of things to actually keep things intact. For example, your own body. If you don't brush your teeth every day in the morning, at least for 3-4 days, how your mouth will be? Your nose itself will not accept your mouth. Right? There will be obnoxious smell coming from inside of the body through your mouth, and then your nose will actually feel that pleasant aromatic smell. Parimala. Right? That you cannot yourself bear it. You don't take bath for few days. You don't clean up your stomach for 1 day, 2 days. Right? How much uncomfortable we actually feel to stay inside this body. It's a very, very tough place where we are staying in, where we have to actually put a lot of endeavor to maintain this body. Yes or no? In 24 hours of the day, most of the hours of the day simply goes off in maintaining this body. Right? You have to make sure you are sleeping nicely with this body, you are cleaning this body nicely. Every 3 hours, 2 hours a day, you have to eat bua, you have to drink sufficient water, and then you have to pass once in a while. If any of these things gets into a problem, gone. Right? So it's not a pleasant life that a person actually lives with this body. And even after doing everything so nicely, still you get disease. You get mental problems. You become angry. Right? For no reason we become angry. Things keeps going on in the family life. Suddenly one person does something little beyond your tolerance limit. Boom. Right? A person becomes immediately angry. How many of you are able to live in a family without getting angry? मजा नहीं रहेगा फैमिली में. अगर झगड़ा नहीं हो तो मजा नहीं लगेगा. सही है ना? Right? That's how material life is. It's actually a terrible place for anybody to live in. Anybody, both men and women, both of them are suffering here. You ask anybody, they will say, my life was very peaceful before marriage. Both of them will say, not just one of them. Both husband and wife will say, my life was very peaceful before marriage. After marriage, gone. And what do parents say? I want to settle down my son and daughter. They want to settle down. I want to make them settle. But their life actually gets completely unsettled after it. That's how material life is. And Krishna conscious life is much, much different. Right? I know many families, even including my own family life, things are going on nicely in our family life just because husband and wife, both of them are practicing Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, there are many families, they would have separated long back. They both of them are staying together, practicing Krishna consciousness with one interest, saying that, okay, if I do this, will Krishna be pleased with me or not? He will not be pleased? Okay, I will tolerate. The level of a tolerance in a devotee goes up and up and up and up as a person becomes more of a devotee. That's what this verse actually talks about. This verse talks about sadhava sadhu bhushana. Just like how bhushana means like we do alankara, right? We decorate our body with bhushana, with abhushan, we call it, right? With jewelry, this, that, and all those things. We decorate our body and we make ourselves appear beautiful, appear nice, right? Yes or no? Yeah, we put nice tilaka after becoming a devotee. We make sure our tilaka is straight line, not ding 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 like that. Right? We make sure our tilaka is straight, our tulsi on the nose is also perfect, and then we apply tilaka on 12 places of the body, we put nice clean dress, and then we appear ourselves in a presentable way, even in the association of devotees. Yes or no? Yes. Right? So why? These are like abhushana. We are decorating our body. Right? We are decorating our body with 12 places. We mark the tilaka of the body because this body is also a temple of the Lord. Recognizing that the Lord is also staying inside. As Paramatma inside this body, He is staying inside. And to recognize this place as a temple of the Lord, we decorate this body with Vaishnava tilaka. Right? So abhushana is something we all do on the bodily level. We decorate our body. But what is it? What is the abhushana or bhushana for a devotee? For a devotee, the quality of a devotee becomes his abhushan. The way the devotee actually behaves, responds, and reacts to situations, the way he presents things, the way he actually interacts with other living entities, the way he actually interacts with devotees, with outside world, all that actually put together, that becomes the abhushana for a devotee. These decorations will not actually be accepted by Lord. You can come with nice decoration, nice tilaka. Even Hiranyakashipu, you give him 5 minutes, he will put a nice tilaka and come in front of Lord. Right? Even it's not difficult to actually put tilaka. Ravana can put nice tilaka and come. That doesn't make him devotee. Right? What makes somebody a devotee? It's the quality. The quality in which a person actually interacts and behaves with other persons. in a way that is actually pleasing to the Lord and other Vaishnavas. That makes somebody a devotee. So why we wear tilaka then? Why we wear all this Vaishnava dress? This actually helps others to remind others about Supreme Lord. As soon as you see a tilaka on the forehead of some devotee, it becomes reminded that this person is a devotee, there is Krishna, there is Supreme Personality of Godhead. All the connection gets opened up when you see a devotee. So external appearance is also matters, but internal appearance is actually even more matters than external appearance. It just doesn't make us a devotee with external appearance. Internal cleanliness of the heart is actually more important, and how we behave, how we react, all that actually matters when somebody actually becomes a devotee of the Lord. Right? So this sloka actually talks about what is it, the internal abhushan, internal decoration of a devotee of the Lord. That this sloka actually talks about. So that we have to actually learn it in association of devotees. Right? When everything goes on very nicely, we also will become a nice devotee. Right? When you are brought in a association or in a company or in center of some difficult situation, then our original nature actually really comes out. Right? When everything goes on in a family, everything goes on nicely. When kids actually make something, then mother and parents show their originality. Hey, keep quiet. Right? That original nature actually comes out when somebody is provoked, when they are put in a very difficult situation. Just like it said that when you get squeezed, then the juice comes out from a fruit. Right? What is inside that actually comes really outside when you squeeze somebody, not when things go on very pleasantly. So somebody has to be really squeezed, and then the original person actually comes out. And then we will see, oh, I was all the way thinking that I was such a nice person. Now I understand how bad I am. You will get to know that at that time. You will really be able to see what the real nature of us when we are squeezed, when we are put in difficult situation. And when in the association of devotees, you will be very often put in difficult situation. That's the beauty of it. Because in material world, things go like, I pat your back, you pat my back. Both of them actually keep patting their back, and both of them keep doing nonsense. But in association of devotees will come and say, no Prabhuji, Mataji, don't do like this, please. This will not be pleasing to Srila Prabhupada. Please do it like this. They will say. How open we will be to accept that. When somebody comes and attempts to correct us. When somebody is willing to change us. Change, how many of them like it? Nobody likes change. For example, even in the house, if the plate in which we eat, somebody else takes that plate and our plate is being used by somebody, our heart gets pricked immediately. We don't like change. Change is something very difficult to actually accept. Even changing from one house to another house, changing a job, changing a family, this, that. Any change is actually a difficult thing to accept. And at the end of this life, you have to change this body. And nobody likes that. Nobody likes that. Nobody likes to give up this old body and accept a new body. Krishna says in the second chapter, saying, why are you actually crying for it? They are giving up an old body and taking a new body. As good as giving up an old and useless dress and you wear a new dress. Why should you be worried about it? Krishna is talking like that. But do we accept it? No. Right? We don't like changes. And when somebody actually comes and gives a proposal for a change, it becomes very hard for us to accept. Because mind doesn't like change. Our mind rebels when somebody proposes a change. But spiritual life is all about embracing change. That's what spiritual life is. Because unless we accept change, our future will not change. You want to change the future, so today you will have to accept a change. If you are not accepting change today, then your future is not going to change. Right? We all aspire to actually go back home, back to Godhead, go to Goloka Vrindavan, Vaikunta, and then have a blissful life. For all that, we have to make the change today. What is the change that we have to make in? We have to become a devotee of Krishna. And only Krishna's devotees are entertained in the spiritual world. If you don't become devotee of Krishna, then what happens? Yeah, and take another life. Start with pre-KG, LKG, first standard, second standard, 10th standard, 12th standard, some degree, job, marriage, children, middle age, old age, death. Another birth. Oh, I am sorry. I thought we will get a human body next life. All those LKG, UKG, 12th standard, job, all those things does not apply to animal kingdom. Right? That becomes even more pathetic life. You take the dog in a street, many times it does not even get a food properly. Right? It does not get its food properly. It's a very pathetic body to live in. Even big animals, strong animals like lion and tiger, it doesn't get its food every day. It has to really go run behind, chase a deer. And after chasing it for kilometers also, it may miss its target. And then it has to starve for 4 days, 3 days, 5 days. Then finally it may get a small animal to eat. That's how their life is. It is even more difficult life. At least human form of life is little better. That things are actually there available for most of them in general. Some of them have difficulty even there as well. Right? So a quality of a devotee is something very, very important. So here in this sloka, Kapiladev talks about different qualities of a devotee. One is titikshava. A devotee is titikshava. Titikshava means tolerant. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also speaks about this. Trinadapi sunichena tarorapi sahisuna. He talks about a tree. A tree never complains when somebody actually goes and nails on its branch. Does it complain? Or a grass, when it is being stamped upon, it never complains. It actually bends down when you stamp, and then after you lift your feet, it comes back again. But it never complains. Or when we just keep walking, we may take, in our childhood we might have experienced, you may take a stick and then keep beating all the plants. Chick, you actually keep beating and then go. It never complains. Right? You do anything to them, they don't complain. How many of you can stay like that? We cannot even tolerate if the next person's feet touches upon us accidentally. We cannot accept that. Yes or no? We cannot tolerate that. That is the level of tolerance that we have. And Krishna is saying that a devotee means they are very tolerant. They are very tolerant. And Krishna will put somebody into real test. If somebody claims themselves to be a devotee, Krishna will start putting them in test. He will give them tough situations. And he will make them go to the extreme level of their tolerance. How much tolerant they can actually go, Krishna will actually test them like that. Just like how even in our own material world, nobody actually gives a degree or a certificate or a qualification without putting them under test. Yes or no? So in the same way, Krishna will also put under test. And who will put us under test? Maya. So Maya will actually put us under test. She will actually come and put us in a particular situation and see how we react to it. And based on how we react to the situation, we pass or fail there. If we fail, a similar situation will come again. If we fail, a similar situation will come again. If we fail, a similar situation will come again. Just that the color of the situation, the flavor of the situation will keep changing, but the test will keep on going until we learn the lesson saying that I have to become tolerant for the pleasure of Krishna. Until we learn that lesson, the test will keep on continuing. If we see a similar kind of problem in our life, it only means that I am not learning the lesson for that test. It only means that. The whole life is to actually learn. We are here to learn. We are always students here. In spiritual life, all of us are always student. If we open our eyes and if we keep seeing, there is abundant opportunity for all of us to keep learning here. And the more quicker we learn, the more quicker we actually advance. The more open we are to change, the more easily we can actually grow. That's how it is. So tolerance is something very, very important for a devotee. If devotees are not tolerant, it becomes very tough for them. Spiritual life, they will sometime after being in Krishna conscious, they will actually start feeling that non-devotees are better than devotees. Okay, I don't want to embarrass you asking you to raise your hand. But I'm sure very many devotees will actually came and spoke to me on this, saying that non-devotees I feel they are much better than devotees, Prabhu. They behave very well than devotees actually. It's only because they are not learning the lesson. Krishna is putting them under some test for them to learn some lessons out of it. And if they are not learning that lessons, they will actually feel that. Because outside world is a pathetic situation where there is no hope at all. Here at least there is a hope. There is a hope of me becoming successful in my life here. If we don't make use of this opportunity, don't learn the lessons along with the association of devotee, it becomes tough for us. Many of them actually started feeling that let me practice this bhakti at home. At least I'll be peacefully practicing. It cannot happen like that. Bhakti happens or comes only in association of devotees. You cannot practice bhakti at home. You can practice it when you don't have association, but not for a long time. Because you're at home, your practice will slowly keep declining. Only in association of devotee, you will actually feel the exponential growth there. So you just have to, if you practice at home, you can keep somehow sustaining there. You don't fall down, you sustain somehow. But for you to grow, it really happens only in association of devotee. Krishna says, Machchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha. Says Machchitta Madgata Prana. Devotees of the Lord, they come together and they speak about me. Machchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam. Bodhayanta Parasparam. Parasparam, they actually converse about the Supreme Lord. And what do they get by that conversation? Machchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Katayantascha Mam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha, Krishna says. They derive great pleasure and happiness being in the association of devotees and learning, conversing with each other about Krishna. They get immense pleasure and happiness. I remember Purandara Dasar. How many of you are from Karnataka here? Okay, quite a few of them. You might have heard about Purandara Dasar, right? He wrote very nice songs. One of the songs that he actually wrote is, I cannot sing properly, it goes like this. Bhushana ke Bhushana idu Bhushana. How many of you have heard this song? None of them? Wow, it's amazing. That song, again, like Purandara Dasar actually talks about what is the real ornament. He actually says, I vaguely remember, he actually says something like, few of the sentence I remember, Alayake Bhushana Tulasi Vrindavana. He speaks about like a house becomes decorated by keeping Tulasi Brindavana in the house, by keeping Tulsi Maharani. By keeping her, the house actually becomes beautiful or decorated. Right? He talks about the bhushana or the decoration for forehead is to actually bow down in front of the Lord. The decoration for eyes is to actually see the beautiful form of the Lord. The decoration for a feet is to actually walk on a Harikshetra, the places where the beautiful pastimes of the Lord has happened, to walk there and actually witness all those pastimes. In this way, Purandaradasa actually brings in different things. He talks about different parts of the body and he glorifies, saying that these parts of the body becomes, it's the existence or the purpose of it gets solved when this is actually done. The same way Prabhupada actually talks in the purport, saying that in human form of life, a person, unless he takes up Krishna consciousness, his whole life is actually spoiled. Right? So I'll just quickly read it. Prabhupada says, he talks about a sadhu. So while talking about a sadhu, Prabhupada says, his concern therefore is to enlighten people in devotional service of the Lord. That is his mercy. He knows that without devotional service of the Lord, human life is spoiled. He says, without devotional service of the Lord, human life is spoiled. Right? So how many of them are spoiling their life here? Crores and crores of people, their life is simply getting spoiled. They don't know what is the real purpose of their existence. Honestly, just look back at your own self, 5 years back, 10 years back, 15 years back, how your life was. How your life was aimless. How your life was without any direction. And now how your life is. How your life has changed after getting in touch with Bhagavad Gita, after getting in touch with Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? How this life has actually added a meaning for your existence. How many of you feel that today? Right? So it has a great meaning. This human form of life actually has a real purpose behind it. If that purpose is not being executed, then we feel a lot of vacant in the heart. We don't even know why we are living here. Our living here is only to actually serve the Supreme Lord. If we don't have devotional service, our whole life is actually spoiled. So a sadhu, Prabhupada actually says that he is very tolerant. And when he comes and interacts with other non-devotees, Prabhupada gives the example of Jesus Christ being crucified. Why Jesus was crucified? Why he was hanged? Because he was glorifying the Lord. Haridas Thakur, why he was beaten in 22 marketplaces? Because he was chanting the holy names of the Lord. Nityananda Prabhu is talking about. Right? Even Prabhupada, he had a very difficult time. When he was trying to preach Krishna consciousness in India, he had very difficult time. His own country people, India, which is said to be Punya Bhumi, which is said to be rich, Mera Bharat Mahan, the same Indian country did not actually support Srila Prabhupada for preaching Krishna consciousness. That was the situation. Today things have changed because Prabhupada knew, saying that if his spiritual master said, bring all the white elephants from European countries and American countries, then people will change. Right? That's how things ISKCON actually spread in India. Otherwise, people were not interested to accept their own philosophy. Even today, people respect Western culture more than, I don't need to say, you all know that. They have more respect. If somebody gives a class in Kannada or in Hindi, they may not accept. If somebody comes and gives a class in English, they may accept. Unfortunately, that's true. I'm not saying about language. All language are same, whether it is English or Sanskrit. It is not that Sanskrit may be considered as superior or whatever, but a language is a means to actually communicate. But the internal mentality is still there to consider that something which happens in a foreign land, it is more superior than what is happening here local. Right? That mentality is still there. Right? That's why Prabhupada actually brought people. He knows saying that the same philosophy, if I speak, they will not accept. So when Westerners came and spoke the same philosophy, we all accepted it. Right? We forgot our own culture and we are still running behind the Western culture. Right? That's it's a truth. We have to really accept it. Right? So a sadhu, they will have immense troubles while preaching Krishna consciousness. They will have trouble and the sadhu tolerates it. They have to face all kinds of insults. Right? Some of you are Bhakti Vriksha leaders here. During the course of your preaching, during book distribution or during Harinam Sankirtan, you may not be really welcomed everywhere. You may not be welcomed everywhere. I remember years back, probably like maybe even 20 years back, we were distributing Bhagavad Gita I was in Chennai along with devotees. And then we were going inside an apartment, and then that day no security and all those things were there those days. So we are going inside all the apartments, we are knocking the door and all those stuff. So we knocked one door. Okay, first we knocked one door, and then one family came, they said they have Bhagavad Gita, they don't need. So we went to the opposite door. We knocked that door. The previous family, they again opened the door and they cautioned us saying, don't knock that door. There's a person there inside that door. He may scream at you, he may yell at you. He has been not cooperative with anybody. Better don't knock that door, get away from that door. But we felt why he should get bereft of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy. We knocked that door. Right? We knocked that door. After several knocks, the door opened. So we actually saw a little old foreign person there. Not an Indian. He was a foreign person. And he opened the door. He actually saw us. And then he could actually recognize that we are ISKCON devotees, Hare Krishna devotees. He immediately said, saying that years back, I have seen Srila Prabhupada. I actually had personal association with Srila Prabhupada. But I didn't take up Krishna consciousness. Right? He actually started speaking about his young days. He actually met Srila Prabhupada, he has heard his classes, but for some reason he didn't take up Krishna consciousness. He was not that a bad person when we actually approached him, but we didn't get the same feedback from all the neighbors. It was a different feedback that we actually got when we approached him. Right? But I'm just saying that when we go and preach Krishna consciousness to others mercifully, we don't become welcomed in all the places. In many places we get scoldings. We get even beaten up. There are incidences where devotees were distributing Prabhupada's books in the metro stations in other countries. Their books were plucked, their books were torn apart, put on the ground, stamped on them. And devotees did not retaliate. They were crying, they folded their hands and they were praying for that person. Let the Lord be merciful and let him be forgiven. And such kind of devotees who have done that to devotees, they all become devotees later and they are repenting for what they have done earlier. Many of them are like that. There are many stories when we go out for book distribution. So many things actually happen. Right? So a devotee doesn't have a very pleasant life. Krishna actually puts them in difficulty and makes them to take shelter on the Supreme Lord all the time. A preacher gets maximum mercy, Prabhupada says. So a sadhu will not have a lot of good time all the time. Right? Material life, you may be having a very pleasant life. Definitely not pleasant, but still you may feel pleasant. But spiritual life, sometimes it may look more unpleasant. You may think that, oh, okay, I came to Krishna conscious thinking that I may have a pleasant life. But what you have got might be something different. Right? You would have not got what you had expected to come. Because many times when people actually think spiritual life means, let my mind actually become peaceful, let me actually calm down, let me actually be pleasant. That's what they think. But spiritual life is completely different. Spiritual life is not what was presented to you. spiritual life is to actually take a lot of risks for the pleasure of the Lord. Right? Somebody narrated this nice story. Prabhupada, when he was actually traveling in train, Prabhupada's health was not doing so good. Prabhupada said, if I could get some hot rice in train, they were traveling. If I could get some hot rice, I would feel better. Prabhupada said that to Yamuna, his disciple. Yamuna Mataji actually went straight to the pantry in the train kitchen. She went to the pantry and she said, saying that I want to cook here. I want to cook hot rice for my spiritual master. And they didn't care to bother about it. They said, get lost. We will not let you cook. Then Yamuna Mataji, she started fighting with them or requesting them. It did not even, they were not ready to budge. What she did was she went all the way close to the door and she said, saying that she was about to jump from the train. The TTR actually came there and she was asking, why are you jumping from train? Yamuna Mataji then said, if I could not fulfill my spiritual master's instruction, he asked me to get hot rice, and if I could not fulfill that, what is the use of my existence? She was that much eager to actually fulfill his spiritual master's instruction, Prabhupada's instruction. Right? So she wanted to actually even jump from train, then the TTR stopped her. The TTR actually went and spoke to all the authorities in the pantry. She was given permission to cook. She cooked hot rice for Prabhupada and she went and served Prabhupada then. That much of risk devotees were actually taking for Prabhupada, in fact. So spiritual life will not be a very pleasant life. If you are coming to ISKCON, coming to Krishna consciousness and thinking, saying that spiritual life will be all pleasant, I'm sorry, it may not be. But it is still a very blissful life. That is guaranteed. It is definitely guaranteed that your life will be very, very blissful and you have very, very great future ahead. Just like Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that Sattva Guna people, in Sattva Guna, people take a little bit of austerity now to get a higher pleasure. Right? Krishna categorizes the three kind of things, Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna and Tamo Guna. In Sattva Guna, things may be appearing to be immediately it may appear to be a little bitter. But in the far end, it will actually be a very pleasant thing. Rajo Guna means immediately it will look little pleasurable. But in the far end, it will actually look very unpleasured. Like for example, if I say I want to see a movie, it may look like a very exciting thing and very pleasurable thing. Your 3 hours, 4 hours of your time will actually go very nice. Or you want to watch a cricket match, or you want to watch a game or play a video game. It looks very nice, pleasant, very pleasurable now. But if you foresee in the future, it is going to really spoil us. So things that are appearing to be pleasant now, it is not really, may not be good for our future. And Tamoguna, Krishna says, it is bad now and bad forever. That's what Tamoguna is. Like for example, people who smoke or people who take drugs or who kill animals for their pleasure, it is neither good now nor bad, nor good forever. So Sattva Guna, it always appears to be like difficult now. You may be undergoing some pain, like Pandavas. They had to undergo some pain initially. For several hours, one time, second time, third time, fourth time, they were insulted, they were actually being tortured mentally. They had to face all kinds of difficulties. Like you see, any devotee whose name is there in Bhagavatam, they never had a very pleasant spiritual life. Prahlad Maharaj, they never had a pleasant spiritual life. His own father was trying to kill him. That was his life. Dhruva Maharaj, his own stepmother insulted him. Gajendra, he was remembering the Supreme Lord with a crocodile holding him. Parikshit Maharaj, he had a 7 days death notice. Arjuna, he was in the war field hearing Bhagavad Gita. Not like sitting under a fan, spreading all the mat having a nice sheltered roof, pleasant atmosphere. That kind of atmosphere Arjuna did not had it. Right? It was not a very pleasant. None of the devotees whose name is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, they had a very pleasant spiritual journey. So I'm sorry to say, if you are thinking of coming to ISKCON for a pleasant life, I would only say welcome. Because Krishna will come with his own plan. Krishna has his own plan of doing things. Right? Just like a father. A child, when he goes and asks a father or mother never actually will fulfill all the desires of the child. They may fulfill some desires of the child, but they will not fulfill all the desires of the child. Because they knew, saying that if this thing was given to the child, it will actually spoil them. So Krishna is like a father. He will not give it. You may come with your plan, just like how a child comes with some plan to the parents. The parents will have their own plan for the child. In the same way, the Lord will have one plan for you. And that plan may not be pleasant always. It may not be pleasant always. Sometimes it may be a pleasant thing. The Lord's plan and your plans may coincide, and it may seem to be happening nicely. It is simply happening not because your plan is becoming successful. It is simply happening because Lord's plan is becoming successful. And sometimes when your plan and the Lord's plan doesn't coincide, then what people actually think, saying that, oh, what is the use of practicing Krishna consciousness? I don't want to practice Krishna consciousness. I don't believe in God. They become even atheists then. They go to all extreme extent. And even an atheist is only provided by the Lord. Every living entity in this whole of the universe, everybody is really provided by the Lord only. The Lord provides even to the atheists. The Lord provides even to demons. When Prahlad Maharaj asked Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlad Maharaj, where do you get your strength from? I am lauding all the three worlds. Even Indra comes and pays obeisances to me, but you being my own son, you are not listening to me. Where do you get your strength from? He asked it. And then Prahlad Maharaj, with a calm head, he actually said, saying that I get the strength from the same source where you get your strength from. Right? So even Hiranyakashipu's strength is actually coming from the Lord. The Lord is the ultimate provider. Our scriptures say not even a blade of grass moves without the Lord's sanction. The Lord actually is a witnesser, and He sanctions everything in this entire universe. And a devotee knows all these things very well. So he is cooperating with the Lord's plan all the time. He actually cooperates with the Lord's plan. If something doesn't happen as per his plan, he understands that this is Lord's plan and he accepts it. He tolerates. So tolerating quality is something very, very important in devotees. They tolerate, right? Not that they shoot up for every small thing. Like Hanuman is a great example for tolerance. Right? Hanuman, when he actually went to Lanka, he went and his purpose was to actually meet Mother Sita. He met Mother Sita, he spoke to Mother Sita, exchanged the ring, all that actually happened. Then Hanuman actually wanted to actually show Ravana that Lord Rama is coming there. For what he has done, he is going to face the consequence. So then Hanuman, in order to see Ravana, for a normal man to go and see Prime Minister Narendra Modi is not easy. He has to actually do something. Do something big, and then only Narendra Modi's darshan we will get. Right? So that's what Hanuman also did. What he did, he threw some trees in Ashokavana, he plucked some fruit, threw all monkey hangama he did there. And Ravana immediately sent some armed forces there. He threw all of them also. He killed all of them. He sent some of his sons, they were also killed. Then finally, when Indrajit actually finally came, Hanuman saw, okay, now looks like the time has come, I may be taken to Ravana. Then he accepted to actually surrender. He willfully accepted to surrender. Right? But he was showing his anger there. Hanuman was showing his anger. But that anger was actually shown in the service of the Supreme Lord. Not for his own pleasure. That's the difference. The difference between we getting angry and Hanuman getting angry, there is a bulk of difference. That the purpose itself is different. The purpose for which we get angry, it is for our own interest. But purpose for which the Lord, the devotees become angry, it's for Lord's interest. Right? That makes a big difference. So in a devotee in his life, they become very tolerant in the interest of the Lord, in the interest of his spiritual master, in the interest of Srila Prabhupada. For them, they actually become tolerant. If I do this, will it be pleasing to Prabhupada or not? If Prabhupada was seeing me now, if my spiritual master is seeing me now, if Vaishnavas are seeing me now, my action, will it be pleasing to them or not? If it does not, they don't do it. They tolerate. Right? That's the quality of a Vaishnava. So, Krishna consciousness is all about changing from inside, not changing from outside. From outside we may change very easily, but from inside to change it actually takes a lot of internal effort. We are here not to change others, we are here to change ourselves. In outside world, everybody wants to actually change the outside things. They want to change the road in which they are living in, they want to change the house in which they are living, the community in which they are living, the country in which they are living in. They want to change everything that they see. But spiritual life is all about changing within, not changing the things outside. We are not here to change others. We are here to change ourselves. We are not in this movement to actually change another devotee. If another devotee does something wrong, we have to learn lessons from it, saying that I should not do that. Right? We have to change ourselves here first. That I should not be doing this first. I should set a good example here. I should practice nicely so that by my practice, others will actually be able to learn some lesson and follow that. Let me set good examples, not bad examples. So if somebody does something wrong, it is for their authority to actually come and correct it, not us. We are not here to actually correct others. We are here to find our faults. How bad am I? That's what we need to see. We need to actually see. A real Vaishnava means he actually finds his faults, not others' faults. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur wrote a whole book on this topic, Vaishnava Ke. One full book was actually written to actually examine ourselves, not examine others. That's what spiritual life is all about. That actually becomes an abhushan for a devotee. To see our own faults inside and to correct ourselves, to become more tolerant, to become more merciful. Merciful means what? Karma means what? The amount of pain you are giving it to others, that you will gain in equal proportion to you. That's what karma means. The more you give pain to others, the more you will get that pain back. That's what karma is all about. How much of pain you are giving to others, you see that. You don't see how much others are giving pain to me. We don't know why that pain is coming to us. Probably it is coming to us because we have given them something last life. We never know. They are just becoming an agent to deliver what we deserve. We deserve it and they are becoming an agent to deliver it, that's all. Just like a postman. A postman will come and deliver what we need to get it. The postman doesn't become the reason for it. Right? The reason could be our own self. We have done something in the past to them and they are giving it back to us. So a devotee never actually complains about others, saying that This devotee did this to me, that devotee did this to me. He keeps pointing fingers. That's why this finger is not used even while chanting. Right? We keep it outside the bead bag. And still we keep pointing with the bead bag. That's the though it is actually excluded from chanting, still we actually point that. Right? That's the beauty of it. So some devotees actually say that when you actually point somebody, all the other 4 fingers actually point at you. Right? All the other 4 fingers point at you, but only that one finger actually points at others. So we need to be a little cautious of where we are actually living in. Right? So the more we give pain to others, more we get back that pain. So merciful means a devotee leads a life where he gives less and less and less and less painful to others, so that it becomes easy for him to go back home, back to Godhead. Or easy for him to become a devotee of the Lord. That's why a devotee is said to be merciful. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a beautiful story of a hunter who was taking pleasure in half killing animals. He came in contact with Narada Muni, and he becomes such a great devotee that later when Narada Muni and Parashara Muni actually came, that hunter wanted to actually pay obeisances to them. And while he was walking to pay obeisances, he was jumping and then going here and there. And even while offering obeisances, he was actually removing all the ants which were actually there on the way, and then he was paying obeisances. Parashara Muni was like wondering, wow, what kind of transformation he has undergone. A person was taking pleasure half killing animals. Now he is concerned about even an ant. That is a real change a sadhu means, a devotee means. He becomes merciful. He gives less pain to others. Right? The less and less and less and less we actually consume things of material world, the less and less and less and less sins we actually get. The more we consume from this material world, the more we actually are committing only sins here. That's the nature of material world. In material world, you engage in more and more materialistic activity, you will end up committing more and more sins. That's why a grahastha will engage in materialistic activity. We go and work others, we use vehicles, all those things we actually do. So we engage in a lot of sinful activities. And that's why in grahastha ashram it is actually encouraged to give charity. We give charity because we give at least a portion of the sins that we have committed, we get relief from it. By giving charity, it is not that ISKCON is getting benefited. No, we are getting benefited actually. Grahasthas should do charity. Grahasthas should invite devotees in their home, have nice kirtan, katha, and feed them nice prasadam. Because they are doing sinful activity, a lot of sinful activity they are doing it. To get themselves freed from it, a grahastha should do that, in fact. That's what our scriptures say. So it is not that we are doing a big upakar to institution. It is actually you are doing a upakar to yourself by doing that. By engaging your money, engaging your capability, engaging your bodily strength, everything in the service of the Supreme Lord, you are actually helping yourself. You are not really helping the institution. If Krishna wants, this institution can actually go in flying colors even without you. You are not really needed here. But you being part of it, you become glorious. That's what Krishna said to Arjuna also. Whether you fight or don't fight, all these men are not going back home from warfield. If you want, you participate in this war, you take credit. But they are not going home for sure. It will happen. That massacring in Kurukshetra will happen. They are all adharmic people, they will be killed. If you want, you be part of it and become glorious. That's all. You be an instrument and then you take credit for it. You be in my service, that's all. So it's up to you whether you do it or don't do it, up to you, but they are not going home. That's what Krishna said. Right? So in the same way, a devotee is very merciful. He is very conscious of how he leads a life in this material world, how he speaks to others. Is my words actually hurting somebody? Is my action actually hurting somebody? The more we give pain in subtle or a gross form, that actually comes back to us. And the more we give pain to others, the more it becomes difficult for us to practice Krishna consciousness also. Krishna says that very beautifully in Bhagavad Gita. What's that verse? Esham tva antagata papam jananam punya karmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavrita. Those who are sinless, those who are less sinful in their past life and in the present life, they will be able to practice Krishna consciousness with more determination. So the lesser we actually commit sinful activity, the easier it actually becomes to progress in Krishna consciousness, in devotional life. That is what Karunika actually means. Titikshava is tolerant, Karunika is being merciful, Ajata Shatrava. A devotee never sees anybody else as an enemy. Though others may treat him as an enemy, a devotee never sees others as an enemy. A devotee always sees others as a living entity. Everybody are spirit souls. They are all living in this material body. They are all under the conditions of three modes of material nature. They are all actually suffering. They are puppets under the hands of three modes of material nature. They are acting based on in the modes they are in. They even don't know why they are doing like that. Without even their knowledge, things are actually happening. And a devotee sees things in clear clarity. He knows why and how a person actually behaves like this, and the devotee actually becomes expert. When somebody matures in Krishna consciousness, they actually become experts in understanding people. They understand people very nicely. How this person is actually like, he is so much rajasic, so much tamasic, so he will actually act like this. That's how a devotee actually sees. Krishna actually nourishes them, and by the mercy of Krishna, they will be able to see things in a different perspective altogether. Right? And a devotee never actually sees other person as an enemy. He only sees other person as something like, okay, this person, he is acting like this today. He seems to be a non-devotee today, but eventually everybody has to become a devotee of Krishna. There is no other way for anybody. Everybody has to become a devotee of Krishna one day or the other, that's all. Time is the only question. Whether they accept Krishna consciousness today or after millions of lifetime, that is the only question. But there is no other way. Everybody has to become a devotee of Krishna one day or the other. Jivera Swarupohoi Nityera Krishnadas. Everybody is Krishnadas. Whether you accept it, don't accept it, that's the only question. You accept it, become a devotee of Krishna, you don't have to stay in this material world, you can go back home, back to Godhead, practice Krishna consciousness there, happily, peacefully. You don't accept it, you are given some more sufficient time, you suffer here, and then when you are at your own sweet time, you may come to this realization and you may also practice it, that's all. But there is no other way to it. That a devotee is very clear in his understanding. So he never actually feels anybody as a Shatru, Ajata Shatru. And he is Shanta, he is peaceful internally. Why a devotee is peaceful? Because so many things may actually happen in this outside. But a devotee very well knows, saying that if this is what Krishna wants, that is what will happen. Bas, that's all. He may put a lot of endeavor and he may make all plans, but Krishna will have his own plan, and the devotee accepts, saying that if this is what Krishna wants, so it be. Like Ambarish Maharaj, for no fault of his, Durvasa Muni actually brought in a demon to kill him. And the demon was approaching Ambarish Maharaj to kill him. Ambarish Maharaj did not retaliate at all. He folded his hands and he said, if this is what you want, O my Lord, let it so happen. And he is peaceful. That's why a devotee is always peaceful. Krishna gives a whole peace formula. Bhoktaram yagyatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram sukhridam sarvabhutaram gyatva mam shanti mrichati. Only a devotee can actually become peaceful. Nobody else. Externally, there could be like a turbulence of ocean that may be happening outside, but a devotee is still peaceful. Right? Even in devotee's life, so many things may be happening. But internally, devotee is very happy and peaceful. Whatever it happen, Krishna knows, Krishna is the architecture for all these things. He is very peaceful still, a devotee is. Shanta, Ajata Shatrava Shanta. Sadhava Sadhubhushanam. Sadhava means a devotee always abides by the scriptural injunctions. He never goes against scriptural injunctions. When yesterday devotees we were studying in the Bhakti Vriksha, Prabhupada very clearly actually says that if we are not actually acting as per the scriptural injunctions, if we are acting whimsically, then our whole life actually becomes useless. Whole life actually becomes useless if we act whimsically without following the scriptural injunctions. Because Krishna himself says that such a person will not get neither perfection, nor happiness, nor supreme destination. He speaks that in 16th chapter. Neither perfection, nor happiness, nor spiritual destination, supreme destination he talks about. So abiding by scriptural injunctions is something very important for devotees. That is why it is necessary for us to read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam on a daily basis. Because if we don't know what is given in the scriptures, how are we going to follow what the injunctions of it? It is very important for devotees to actually read Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam every single day. Every single day we have to remove some time out of it. I know, as a householder, we have thousands of things to actually do every day. We have no time. So many things are there to actually do. In between all these things, somehow we have to insert that also. We will not get a separate time to read. We have to somehow find a time and then read it out. That's all. We will not get a separate time maybe to do so many things of spiritual life. But in whatever time we get, we will have to actually do it. That's what all the acharyas have been also saying. Right? Mold your life in such a way so that you will not forget Krishna in your life. That's how our life should be. In a Grahastha's life, there will be hundreds of things that we may be doing, but in between that 100 things, we will not forget Krishna. That's how we need to mold our life. We have to be somehow remembering Krishna by hook or crook. Ena kena prakarena mana Krishne nivedeya. By hook or crook, surrender your mind to the Supreme Lord. That's how spiritual life need to be practiced in family life. We will not get time. Time impossible for a grahastha. Right? They have 100 things, mothers especially, with kids, absolutely no time. But still we have to insert it. That's the only way. There is no other separate way. We have to somehow insert it as and when we get some free time, open Prabhupada books and then read it. And whenever we are reading it, we should not actually keep carrying the future in our mind. Whatever, let it happen for 5 minutes, I am going to read Prabhupada's books, that's all. And in that 5 minutes, we have to actually get inside, deep, absorb and understand whatever Prabhupada is saying in every sentence, every word of it. We should actually pay attention and read it. That's how our life needs to be. And all the time we have to keep playing Prabhupada's lectures and we have to keep hearing it as and when we get to hear. So keep hearing, keep chanting, keep reading. That's how our time should actually go. If we pass our time like this, we become a devotee of the Lord. We get all the good qualities that are mentioned here in the scriptures. When we become a devotee, all good qualities automatically come in us. And if we don't become a devotee, Even if we have hundreds of good qualities, they don't have any value. They really don't have any value. Our scriptures say they are as good as Prabhupada used to say, they are all something like you keep putting 110 for all the good qualities that you have, unless you put a 1 in the front, that 0 does not have any value, Prabhupada says. So for all your good qualities to carry some value, we have to bring in Krishna in our life. Somehow we have to bring in Krishna in our life. आध्यात्मिक जीवन का मतलब किसी चीज को छोड़ना नहीं, सिर्फ भगवान से जोड़ना है. That's what spiritual life is. Spiritual life is not about renunciation. Spiritual life is to actually connect everything to actually in with Krishna. We have to see that this body is given to me by Krishna. This mind is given to me by Krishna. This intelligence is given to me by Krishna. This family is given to me by Krishna. This property that I have is given to me by Krishna. Everything actually belongs to Krishna. I will stay here for some time, I will die and I will go. These all things will be there because they are all Krishna's property. We cannot take even a farthing when we die. Right? We have to understand that this all things belongs to Krishna. This body also belongs to Krishna. Right? What is the night song? Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually says, right? Manasa deho geho joki chumor arpilu tua pade nanda kishore. So my manasa, deha, geha, joki chumor, whatever I have, it all actually belongs to you. I offer it to you. Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually says. That is what spiritual life is. So if we actually practice that nicely in our life, every day, daily basis, and then take association of devotee. In association of devotee, we cooperate with each other, practice without fighting, without finding faults. There are 100 faults maybe there in a devotee, but still there is one good quality that he is practicing Krishna consciousness. You may have thousands of faults. You may find millions of faults in me. I am not a perfect person. But the one good quality that we need to see in everybody others is that they are practicing Krishna consciousness, they are chanting the holy name of the Lord, they are trying to practice the instruction of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, they are trying to actually improve themselves. They may be in a diseased condition today, but they are all actually are putting some efforts to improve. Let me go little tolerant with them. Let me go little tolerant with them. If Krishna is accepting them, why shouldn't I accept them? Krishna is accepting their service. Why should I actually not accept them? Why should I actually end up gossiping, saying that this devotee is like that devotee this devotee like this? Why should we do all these things? It is up to them and Krishna. Why should we actually get involved in all these things and spoil our spiritual life? We should protect our spiritual life. We should actually look into our faults. We should actually try to correct ourselves than attempting to correct others. We are not here to correct others. Spiritual life is not about correcting others. Spiritual life is to actually correct ourselves. So let me look at me. Let me look at my faults. Let me correct myself. Let me become a better devotee. Let me practice things nicely. Let me read Prabhupada's books nicely. Then we will become a good example in front of others. Looking at us, others may change. Just like how they say that children, they actually learn not by what we say, but what they see. They don't learn from what they hear, but they learn from what they see. If we actually set a good example in front of our children, they will actually become good in the future. The same thing applies even to the society also. If we set a good example here, then others may look at us and others may also follow. We change by changing ourselves here. Let's focus on changing ourselves. That's what spiritual life is all about. Alright, so in the interest of time, I will stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we'll take some questions. If anybody has any questions, you can raise your hand. Opportunity to ask. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
So Prabhu, lot of times, like even in this lecture, we heard that anger is something, which is pretty natural for every living entity. But then the best use is to use it in the service of the Lord, right? So one example that you were citing, that some of the devotees were in a foreign country when they were distributing books, and some people came, they tore the books and stomped on them. Wasn't that the right time to display some anger towards for Srila Prabhupada or for Krishna at that time? Why did they tolerate at that time? So this is sometimes very confusing, that where should we exhibit the anger and where should we try to tolerate?
It kind of depends on the situation, Prabhu. There is no one solution for things of material world, right? Like it is not that we put a pill and then that pill actually works for everybody. No, that only Mahamantra is that pill. It will work for everybody. But in material world, every situation, every place, every circumstances, we need to actually deal it differently. So at some situation, probably we may have to show the anger. At some situation, probably we may have to show mercy. Right? Both are medicines. Right? Mercy is a medicine that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally has brought. When Nityananda Prabhu was attacked, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was invoked as Sudarshana. But Nityananda Prabhu stopped him and said that if you need to kill all these people, you have to kill everybody here. So better than killing them, kill their demoniac tendency. Show your mercy. Right? So mercy is another great medicine. Others may come and harm you, but if we don't actually harm them back, they may be wondering, oh, what did I do? I did something terrific to these people, and they are actually not reacting to it at all. They are tolerating. Did I do something wrong? Right? So it kind of depends on the person, on the situation. For some people, yes, mercy might work. But at some people, yes, we may have to become a Kshatriya. So a devotee actually may take any roles. Right? He may actually show a Kshatriya role, or he may actually show a Brahmana role, or become merciful, or he may actually react based on different ways based on the situation. So it kind of completely depends on the situation. Right? So there is no one pill for all those problems. So at one situation there was a Mataji, I believe there was a Mataji who underwent that. She could not actually fight with that person. He was like probably stout or whatever. But eventually that person became a devotee of the Lord. That's how Lord works. He has stoned the Bhagavad Gita. He has put that in the ground. He stamped it. It was such an aparad. When you say like you can actually say like that. But the Lord was still merciful. He actually accepted him as a devotee. It's like we never know how things actually work here. So it kind of like it depends on the situation mostly. Right?
Thank you so much.
Just to add to that incident, that person who sold the book was a chartered accountant. And he took the torn book to his home to show his wife that this is how I have written the Hare Krishnas today. And the maid servant didn't know. She thought that book has been torn by mistake, so she mended it. And in the near future, his wife divorced him. His children left him, and he was all in that place. One day before committing suicide, he saw that mended book, saw the address, went to temple, became the finance head of the same temple. And after 2 years, he met her and accepted her as she.
Right. Right. So we never know how the Lord's plans works. So it's difficult to actually say. Thanks, Prabhu. Yeah.
So I have a question, Prabhu. This is first of all, thank you very much for this wonderful lecture. We hope and we pray that you come every week or every month. That we have a desire, because it's very difficult to find people who have complete faith in Srila Prabhupada's books and teachings, and when we hear from people like you, our faith and our struggles, they get, we feel some hope, we find some, we feel that there is some hope for all of us also.
You are no less warrior.
Oh, I know. And because, so my question to you is, you have very nicely talked about how a devotee should be tolerant and how a devotee should be very flexible while executing their plans. The Lord may thwart their plans any moment. and a devotee is okay to change his plans according to the Lord's plans. And a devotee should not be attached to anything and let the Lord play his divine plan. You have your plan, God will his plans. So this is my personal challenge as a practicing devotee. I tend to make a lot of plans, and not sometimes, most often when the plans get thwarted, it's a little bit challenge for me to be peaceful. By the association of devotees in which I am and by the practice of Krishna consciousness as guided by acharyas, eventually I let it go and become peaceful. But I have a very unpeaceful time, which is horrible. So, can you please highlight? We understood the point that we should be peaceful, we should be mindful enough to understand the Lord's plan. But how to do it? Do you have any tips to pass through that very tough moments where you realize that whatever you feel, whatever you plan, the Lord is involved? So please.
Yeah, I have also gone through some tough times, and I remember many times, like when we get a lot of very practical tips and suggestions from Prabhupada's letters. Because many devotees, they would have undergone many tough times, they would have written that to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada actually responded to them. One such letter I very, very nicely remember, where when I had to make some tough decisions in my life. There was one letter where Prabhupada actually was actually saying it again, like it is very contextual. It may apply to others, it may not apply to others. You can try experiment, I'm just saying it. Prabhupada in one of the letters, he kind of said, saying that if you are not very clear in what decision you need to take, then don't take decisions at that time. Because time will actually reveal things much better than you in a hurry making some decision. So I had to make some tough decision at some point of time, because it was like a decision whether I should marry or join temple. Kind of like that. I was like, very tough situation. You might know. Right? No, you might not know. Maybe others can know. So it was like that kind of a situation where then I kind of waited, prolonged, pushed as long as I can. Then I understood what I need to do and I did that kind of. So not just that situation, in many other situations also, something like this actually helped. So when things don't go in our favor, when things are not happening, when we are not clear what we need to do, we just need to wait. We don't take any harsh decisions, any hasty decisions at that time. We just wait and then see what is the plan, which is like more favorable for us to practice Krishna consciousness. Then things becomes more better, revealed, then we go forward, kind of like that. So that helped me in many cases. That one instruction of Srila Prabhupada in one of the letter, it did help me. So I know in earlier days, I used to read a lot of Prabhupada's letters, because it did help me in many cases. A lot of instructions were very practical, because devotees, they had faced challenges. That time the only way to actually talk and find out answers for their questions was through Prabhupada's letters, or through Prabhupada's morning walk, or through some conversations with Prabhupada. Those are like very, very, very important conversations. They are more practical than a class that Prabhupada has given, where it is like in general, it is like addressing a mass audience. But there it is like more of a one-on-one, where a particular devotee's problem is being addressed by Prabhupada. So that is actually like, it has more in-depth, more personal, more touching instructions actually comes through that. So I learned a lot through that medium, and then it really helped me. Maybe you can also try it.
So when I'm in a difficulty, I see that Prabhupada's letters are related to various topics. How do I know that which letter of which topic?
Sikshamrita. You should go with Sikshamrita is a book compilation.
Correct.
Yeah.
The letters are divided in various topics.
Yes.
I'm having problems with the class, somebody is having problems with the. So did you go?
Yes, I went through the sections. Yeah. The particular sections of Prabhupada's letter, I will carefully read that, kind of like that. So I went through section wise basically, not all the letters.
So, Prabhu, I wanted to share something.
Yes,
before I
Prabhu.
go to others. This is a confession which I want to make in front of you and everybody else. So, when I came to Krishna consciousness in 2016 when I joined this, I was also in this dilemma whether to marry or not.
You made a good choice.
And then I used to see you. You used to come to our base to give classes. You are my inspiration to not marry.
Haribol!
Why? Why I'll tell you. Because I used to see such high standards you were following. I was fully convinced that if I become a Grihastha, I cannot be like Bandhu Madav, so better not marry.
You made a good decision. You saved yourself.
I wanted to share this point. Like even you made me realize that Grihasthas are really glorious, and you were mentioning how many things are there to do. This luxury of brahmachari has that he gets exclusive time to focus on Krishna. I feel very sorry for myself that being a brahmachari still I am not able to do. And when I look up to exalted devotees who are true representatives of Prabhupada like yourself, despite so many other engagements, you daily read Prabhupada books, you daily hear lectures. I'm feeling very inspired, and I feel all brahmacharis should become servants of Grihastha.
Other side always looks green, Prabhu. You don't know the difficulties that we go through.
So thank you very much for being an inspiration. My question is, how, despite so many challenges, being father, being a husband, being an employee, and being a sector leader, circle leader, how do you manage to balance your time and read and hear Prabhupada daily? That is my question.
Get scolded everywhere. That's the only way. That you spend more time in Krishna consciousness, you get scolding from your family. You spend more time with your family, you feel like other devotees feel that they are deprived of your. So you like it like sometimes we give time here, sometimes we give time there. It's like you get tossed here and there. That's what really happens. And that's a blissful time because you are still able to do something, some service to Srila Prabhupada's movement. You are still able to help the family in their Krishna consciousness, their material life. It's a tough time, obviously. And I know many of them here, they all know that how Grihastha's life is actually very tough. It's not easy. But still, we should not give up. We should keep fighting. We should never actually feel settled thinking that I'm doing nice Krishna consciousness. Right? We have to keep fighting, we have to keep improving. It is always a challenge for all of us to actually practice spiritual life in material world. It is not easy at all. But we have to never give up the fight. That's the only thing. Because our acharyas, we are coming in a parampara where our acharyas never gave up fight. Prabhupada at the very old age, at the age of 70, he actually left to United States. He started preaching there single-handedly. He has to take so much of hardships for spreading this Krishna consciousness. Like you have to read Prabhupada's Leelamrita. If you read Prabhupada's Leelamrita, you will understand the purpose of this ISKCON, and you will never feel that you have done even a drop of service properly to Prabhupada's movement. You will always feel unsatisfied. For whatever Srila Prabhupada has actually given to us, you will always feel short of what we are giving him back to him. So it's like, if we know what this movement is, what Srila Prabhupada has given to us, we will always be hankering and longing to actually do more for Srila Prabhupada. That's the only thing. So keep reading Prabhupada's books, keep reading Prabhupada Leelamrita, keep being in close touch with Srila Prabhupada, hear from Srila Prabhupada. It gives immense inspiration to actually go forward, despite all difficulties. That's the only way.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Okay. We'll take two more questions. And Prabhu will decide.
Thank you very much for this class. So my question is, I heard that all these qualities which you discussed naturally comes when one practices devotional service. But today I heard that we have to learn it, and by coming in association of devotees and not being aloof, but we should not practice at home. And Can you please clarify what exactly is this practice? How a devotional service means what exact practice? Coming in association of devotee means how? What exactly?
Okay. Say for example, at your home you have a picture of the Lord and you want to actually decorate the deity of the Lord or a picture of the Lord in a certain way, right? You may go and decorate that with this flower, this decoration, this kind of way you may actually do it. But when you come in the association of devotee, some other devotee may saying that don't do it like this, do it like this. So there are two opportunities. One, either we can learn that this is the way to actually worship. For example, Prabhupada likes rose flower, right? You may like jasmine flower. You may like to offer jasmine to Prabhupada, right? But the other devotee knows, right, Prabhupada likes rose flower, right? You may be inclined to offer jasmine and that devotee would like to please Srila Prabhupada by offering rose flower. So now you have an option to either accept that devotees and go and offer rose flower to Srila Prabhupada, or you have an option to actually say get lost to that devotee and you go and offer jasmine to the Lord. Both are devotional service, but in one service there is an opportunity to learn, right? For example, I'll give another example. Matajis may appreciate it much. Like cooking a nice item in the kitchen, right? In different states, the same item may be cooked in different ways. Yes or no? How many of you have experienced this? Right? Same item may be cooked in different ways in different places based on how a devotee actually has learnt it. It is not that others are wrong, you are correct. Or it is not that you are wrong, others are correct. But still, when you are actually working under some devotee, you will have to work as per their instruction, not as per what you like to do. That is austerity. You cannot do it as per what you like to do, but instead you have to actually do it as per the instruction that has been given to by the devotee. And following that instruction and doing as per and pleasing them, that is purification. You will not get all that at home for sure. Right? You will undergo a greater amount of purification in association of devotees. It will be more practical than theoretical. When you study at home, theoretically, reading Srila Prabhupada's books, you may see, okay, you may learn many things, but all those learning will actually get applied when you be in association of devotees. Practically, it will be applied. Practically, you will be challenged. And you will be put in the situation where you will have to be taking a decision, should I actually follow authority or should I follow what my mind says? The more we take decision of following our mind, more our spiritual life gets difficult. The more we follow the authority, the more it is good for us. Like Arjuna had an option to do what he likes to do. End of whole Bhagavad Gita, Krishna actually said, Ete ichasi tata kuru. Whatever you like, you do. I have told whatever you need to hear, I have told it. Now it is up to you to actually do whatever you like to do. But what did Arjuna say? Karishye vachanam tava. You tell me what should I do, I will do the exact same thing. He said, Nashto moha. All my illusions are now gone. Smritir labda. I have regained all my memory. Tvat prashadan maya chuta. By your mercy I have got all these things. Stitosmi gata sandeha. Now all my doubts are vanished. Karishye vachanam tava. You tell me what should I do? Should I shoot at Bhishma? Should I shoot at Drauna? I am ready to do it. Earlier he was not ready to do it. He is saying that my Gandiva is slipping from my hand. My hands are quivering. My whole body is shaking. He gave all those dialogues. After hearing whole Bhagavad Gita, he was ready to actually fight. Why? For the interest of Lord. If Lord wants this, I am ready to do it. That's all. He simply becomes a devotee which is pleasing to other Vaishnavas, pleasing to Srila Prabhupada. That is more important than practicing at home alone, where everything will go very nicely. You will not be cornered there mostly. Right? It's a different situation altogether.
So
We will take one more question, Prabhu.
Mataji is
Okay, two more.
yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Right.
My question is, the bliss of spiritual life is only after death, which we don't know. Whether to go to Golam or Bhagavatada. But as you told, and devotees has always the same question, that why being a devotee of Krishna life is so difficult, we are getting so much, and Krishna also, as you told, he takes test, we have to praise him. That means the bliss of spiritual life will get only after death.
No, Mataji. Bhagavatam talks about Jivan Mukta, right? A devotee is liberated even while living in this material body, right? It is not needed to actually give up this material body to actually what do you call, like, of course, liberation is not the end goal of a devotee. Liberation is like a byproduct. For us to get out of this cycle of birth, death is not the main thing in a devotee's life. A devotee actually practices Krishna consciousness, serves the Supreme Lord, serves the Vaishnavas simply to actually please them. That's all. If Krishna becomes happy, Krishna becomes pleased with my service, that's all a devotee wants. A devotee does not even aspire for liberation. He does not even want to go back home, back to Godhead. For a devotee, if Krishna becomes pleased, he is happy, he is content. That a devotee can do even while living in this material body. It is not necessary that he has to give up this body, go back home, back to Godhead, and then only he will be able to please Krishna. No. We can please Krishna even while living in this material body. That is what devotional service is. Devotional service is all about pleasing Krishna. Pure devotional service, Krishna becomes purchased by pure devotional service. He becomes purchased. Prabhupada says that don't try to become God, but become greater than God. Who is greater than God? Only a devotee is greater than God. So much so that Krishna, he actually felt saying like, I am not able to get the feelings or love that my devotee is actually feeling for me. My devotee seems to be more blissful and happy than me. I want to actually experience that happiness. I want to get that pleasure. Because Krishna is Rasaraj. He actually looks for bliss, happiness, rasa. He wants to actually experience even the rasa of a devotee. So that is why Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to experience the bliss that the devotees are actually facing it. So devotees are blissful anywhere where they are. It doesn't need to be that they have to go to kingdom of God. They will be blissful even in hell or heaven. And wherever a devotee is, he is happy. Because wherever a devotee is, he will remember Krishna, and that place actually becomes Vrindavana. If we remember Krishna, that place becomes Vrindavan. That's what Prabhupada actually very nicely says. So wherever we are, we have to just remember Krishna, that's all. We have to just spend our time remembering Krishna, and that is as good as Vrindavan, Vaikunta, Goloka Vrindavan. We don't have to go to a separate place. Vrindavan is there in wherever we are if we bring in Krishna. On a contrary, we may go live in Vrindavan and still we may be a demon there. Right? So we don't want to become like that. We want to become a devotee and remember Krishna in wherever we are. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says, saying that Sthane sthitam pratigatam tanuvan manopi. Wherever you are, you live in that place, chant the holy name, read Srimad Bhagavatam and make your life successful. That's all. So we just need to practice what Srila Prabhupada has given us, and it is up to Krishna. If Krishna wants, we may go back to Godhead, or if Krishna wants, we may go to hell. But wherever we go, our job, our duty is to actually serve the Supreme Lord, please Him. That's all. If Krishna puts us in hell, no problem. We will go there happily, There also Yamaraj is there. He is a great devotee of the Lord. In with Yamaraj, we will actually chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. That's all. Simple. Anywhere we go, we will chant Hare Krishna. We will please the Supreme Lord.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we'll take one more question.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, I read the Bhagavatam. I saw there many of the Rajas like Prahlad Maharaj, Ambarish Maharaj, many have that story heard. Whoever has, they have everything in the life, in them life. Like Raj, name, fame, money, everything. Still they are eager to get the Krishna. But that rasa we are not getting. We are hankering some material things. Maybe we are approaching Radha Krishna because of that. Or some difficult situation, we can't, our effort, we can't come out of that situation. We are trying to approach or call to Krishna. But why that rasa was missing with us? Why we are effortly we are taking? Krishna also tells Atma and Paramatma, our connection is eternal. But why still we are missing that rasa, and why we are efforting to remember the Krishna and chant the Krishna, and whenever we read and hear the lecturer, we will get little motivation as well. We are practicing also, but the whole thing is why we are missing that reality of the love, like how mother and kids naturally they have affection, but we are why we are missing.
Okay, why is little difficult to actually say. We actually brought up a topic where we can actually give one separate seminar, kind of like that. So keeping it short in the interest of time, there are many reasons that could be. Some of the things are like our samskaras, our upbringing. Like we are Kali Yuga people. We are very degraded altogether. We are born in a very degraded place. Very, like even it is said that spiritually advanced people, in one sense, they don't like Kali Yuga. They don't like Kali Yuga because it is so difficult place to actually live in. Very difficult place, so much of suffering that it is not at all pleasant to actually live in this place. We are born and we are actually brought up in that. Just like to give an example, Indra was once cursed to actually become a pig, and he had his own pig family. He had his own wife, he had children, so big family he actually had. He becomes so comfortable in that pig family that even when Brahma came, invited him saying that you are king of heaven, you are Indra, why are you actually here? You come back and get back your kingdom in the heaven. But Indra was not ready to come. He was so happy being a pig, right? Because he was like, he is getting adjusted there. He got adjusted. So much he got adjusted that he doesn't want to give up and change. Change, again, that we spoke about. Nobody likes change, right? So it's kind of like an upbringing. Our samskaras, our education that we actually had, we were educated wrongly from the beginning, right? We were all taught about ABCD, but we were never taught about Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita from our childhood. Even if we may be taught about, it was taught about like a story, but it was not taught about like an inspiration to actually take up bhakti in our life. We heard it, we heard Ramayana, we heard Mahabharata, we might have heard all these things. But we don't know the real purpose behind it. We were not taught saying we are spirit souls. We were not really taught that how we are actually cycling in this material world for life after life after life. We were not really taught saying that my father and mother are my father and mother for this life, not my real father and mother. For this life, they are my father and mother. Bhagavatam gives an example, something like when the river flows, so many straws may actually come together and then they may get separated. So today I have my father, my mother, my husband, my wife, my children, all of us, we are together. Then later on we will all get separated. So this valuable basic education was not really taught to us from childhood. Or this was not the real topic that was taught in our schools and colleges. This was like neglected topic. If somebody asks a question, who am I? They were put down, really. Trashed, whatever. So our samskaras also matter, and even our karma that we are carrying, all that actually matters for the facility. Like when Krishna says, saying that if somebody who has done a nice spiritual activity, they get a much better life. They get a pious life. They get they are born in an aristocratic family. They are suitable to continue practice. All that actually matters. So why? It's a difficult question. Each of us have a different equation there. Each of us had different bank balance, came with that. Each of us had different environment in which we are grown up. On a whole, together, all Kali Yuga people are bad, worse, down, fallen. Right? All Kali Yuga people are like that. But still there is a hope. Right? There is a hope. Even in this Kali Yuga, that's why there is a Kalir Dosha Nide Rajan Astihi Ekor Mahan Guna Kirtana Deva Krishnasya Mukta Sangha Param Rajit. So even if the Kali Yuga is still so worse, there is one great Mahan Guna. Right? Even I'll just finish off with this story. Once I'll not tell the whole story. Let it be a suspense if you don't know it. So one Brahmana came to Bhima and he asked 5 different questions. I'll not say all the 5 questions. I'll say only one question out of it. One of the questions that he asked was, one thin, lean person with a small thread, he was able to actually move a big mountain. How is this possible? He asked this question to Bhima. Right? One thin, lean person with a small thread, he could tie a big mountain and he was able to pull the whole mountain. It was like Bhima said, I cannot answer this. Go to my brother Yudhishthira Maharaj. He will be able to answer it. So then Bhima actually went to call Yudhishthira Maharaj, saying that such a Brahmana actually came. And by the time Yudhishthira Maharaj came, that Brahmana left. So then Bhima narrated all the 5 questions to Yudhishthira Maharaj. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj then said, where is that person? Where is the person? Catch him, catch him. But the Bhima could not understand what is really happening here. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj said, saying that that person who came is actually Kali personified. He is Kali himself. And then he gave answers to all the 5 questions that Bhima was asked. And this question, whatever I spoke about, is like this one quality of Kali Yuga, where a lean person with a tiny thread, he was able to pull a whole big mountain. So the Yudhishthira Maharaj actually said, saying that in Kali Yuga, big mountains like sins will be completely knocked off by the thin thread of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that is the capability of this Kali Yuga. So we may not have got the sufficient samskara, but now we have got an opportunity. We have got an opportunity. We have been introduced to this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We have been introduced to this association of devotees. Somehow or other, we have lost some time, no problem. But we still have some more time to actually make our life perfect. Let's think about future. Let's not think about past. Alright, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Premanande.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. That was so inspiring for all of us. We have a couple of announcements.